Hi folks, welcome to another video from me, Mike, from Lanzarote Information. Now this week I'm going to give you 8 beach tips, and these are things we've learned over many years of enjoying the beaches on this island. And here's the first one. Apply the sun cream before you get onto the beach. It might be great exfoliation to rub sand all over your body, but you're much better off not doing so, and you'll find that the sun cream is that much more effective. So either put it on in your accommodation before you go to the beach, or pause on the promenade before you walk down to the beach and get your sun cream on and make sure you cover all your bits. Now, if you use a good quality sun cream, and we invariably do, you should be able to get away with just having to reapply it once or twice during the course of the day. But again, my top tip is to actually go off the sand up onto the promenade or the car park or wherever you are away from the beach before you reapply that sun cream again. Number 2, you need a hat. Not just if you're bald like me, but you should wear a hat in the sunshine here. Even if you've got a full thick head of hair, you'll find where the parting is or where that round bit in the middle can very quickly get burned. So I would always recommend wearing a hat, and if you get one with a decent brim on it, it gives your eyes some protection from the sun as well, because bear in mind your eyes are also absorbing all of that ultraviolet radiation. The next beach tip we've got is that the sand here is really sticky. I don't know what the component is that causes that, but you'll find that, just walking a few meters in the sand, it will stick to your feet. So this tip is a cracker, and it works if you've got a hire car particularly well. And that is to get yourself one of those 5-litre plastic water containers and fill it up with water before you go to the beach. Now, you can just leave it sitting in the sun by wherever you are actually sitting on the beach, but it's even better, more effective, if you can leave it in the car while you're enjoying the beach, because when you then come back to the car, you'll have some lovely warm water that's been heated by the sun sitting in the car that you can pour all over your feet and your arms and the rest of your body, just to try and get that sand out of your skin. There is another side issue with the sticky sand here, and that is Lycra. If you're wearing Lycra trunks or Speedos or a bikini, the sand can get kind of caught within the weave of it. So I would recommend using trunks that are a kind of shiny material, so that and bikinis that are a shiny material, so that those little bits of sand don't stick in between the fibres. And the next tip is also about sand. The sand here on a hot day can get really hot. It depends which beach you're on. If you're, for example, on Playa Dorada, where the sand is very light coloured, very golden coloured, it's not too bad. But if you're on some of the beaches with a darker shade of brown sand, for example, Arietta, it can get super hot, and you can really burn your feet just walking from where you're sunbathing down to the water's edge. So have some cheap plastic flip-flops with you, and then you can just walk them down to the water's edge and leave them there while you go for a swim. They'll still be there when you come back. Nobody will steal them, and you'll be able to rinse them off easily afterwards. So just be aware of the hot sand. And the next tip, while we're talking about your feet, is think about rocks. It's the coastline around the island can be dotted by volcanic rocks. So even though you're walking off a smooth sandy beach into the ocean, there are some beaches where you will come across rocks as you're walking out. And sometimes they're, if you're up to this part of your body, you may not see them when you're looking into the water. So don't charge into the water. Go in fairly carefully and keep an eye out for rocks. If you're really concerned that you are in a rocky area, stick a mask on, and then you can put your head down into the water and you'll be able to look around and see where you're walking next. But just bear in mind that there might be rocks where you are walking. Now, I've got 3 more tips to come for you, but before I do that, I just wanted to ask you if you are a Lanzarote lover. Julie and I have always described ourselves as Lanzarote lovers. And what we mean by that is that we fell in love with this island when we first visited it, right at the turn of the century, when our children were young. In fact, we loved it so much that within 3 months we'd moved here with those 2 children, with our Old English sheepdog, and with everything we possessed in the world. That was a long time ago now, and it was the best decision we ever made. But we've always called ourselves Lanzarote lovers. We were the type of people who arrived on this island and instantly got it. We understood how much we loved it, how much we wanted to be here for the rest of our lives. If you fall into that category, I'm inviting you to join our newsletter, our weekly newsletter, as a subscriber. I've been writing the newsletter every single Friday since 2008, and you'll see a link to it below. I'm not going to bore you with a great long description about what we write in it, because you can find that if you go and click the link. It will tell you, it will even give you an example you can have a look at so you can get a feel for it. But if you're a Lanzarote lover and you love this place as much as I do, I think, and in fact, no, I don't think, I know you will enjoy the newsletter. So please go and have a look at that link now. Okay, on with the video. And the next tip I'm going to give you is about nasty stuff. Now, I call it nasty stuff, but it's things that can hurt you around the oceans. And we're really, really lucky here in Lanzarote in that the sea is very benign around us. It's quite rare for us to have jellyfish. Very occasionally we do get them, and the lifeguards will put up a flag to say that they are there, but it isn't a common thing at all. We do have sea urchins in the ocean around us, but they're at some depth, so you'd have to snorkel out quite a long way and dive down to spike yourself on a sea urchin. I've done it when I've been scuba diving, but I've certainly never done it while I've been snorkeling. And we don't have sharks close into shore, apart from angel sharks. You occasionally see one of those, but they are very benign. They just kind of lie on the seabed and seem to sleep all day long. So there is very little that is going to hurt you in the sea. You don't need to stress about it. You don't need to worry about it. I've dived and snorkeled and swum in the ocean many thousands of times over the last 25 years. I've once been spiked by an urchin, and that was at depth. And I've only once been stung by a jellyfish, and that was in a swim race, and I was trying to go too fast to avoid looking where I was going. So it's very, very safe to swim here. So we have 2 to go, and the penultimate one I'm going to talk to you about is hydration. And it really, really is important for a number of reasons that you drink plenty of water while you are out and swimming. That's because sunbathing and swimming is an assault on your body, basically. So the sun is beaming its ultraviolet rays into your skin. You're in the water, you're cooling down. The salt is sticking to your skin. You're coming out and your body's heating up. It's quite hard work for your body to deal with that. And one of the best ways that you can help it, and also to help yourself develop a good tan, is to make sure you stay hydrated. Now, that can be a problem because you might go and have a beer. That isn't really going to hydrate you. It's quite difficult to carry lots of water down onto the beach with you, and within half an hour of being there, if you've got it in a plastic bottle, it's probably really, really warm and horrible. So I'm going to share a tip with you. This is what Julie and I do when we go to the beach. We use our bike bottles, you know, those plastic bottles you put in the holder on your bike when you're out for a bike ride. And we fill them with water the night before we go to the beach, not to the top, because, and that, it will become obvious why in a moment. Do the top up safely, and we stick them in the freezer. And the reason we don't fill them to the top is that the water expands as it turns into ice. But by morning, it's a solid block of ice, and we just take those to the beach with us, and they gradually melt during the day. The water in them stays cool, and it's lovely and refreshing to have cool water for a full length of a day on the beach. And finally, the final tip I've got for you for the beach here in Lanzarote: don't eat. And that might sound strange, but really we had visions when we first moved here of having picnics on the beach, and we tried it a few times, and it really doesn't work. And it comes back to the breeze that we pretty much have here all the time, and also that sticky sand I talked about right at the beginning. Eating pretty much anything on the beach ends up being eating a sand sandwich, so we never take food onto the beach. Instead, take a break from the beach, walk to the nearest tapas bar, have a tapa and a cold beer, and that's perfect, and then go back to your sunbathing. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video of beach tips for Lanzarote. If you have a question or a comment, please leave it in comments below. If you have indeed liked it, please give us a like. We would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for giving up your time and watching, and bye for now.